Welcome to Mainland Television Regional News. I'm Graham O'Brien, and coming up in today's bulletin, Kite Day draws a crowd but no extra funding, new Motueka premises causes customer delays, iwi meet and greet new Tasman Bay's inspector, and police warning for cricket attendees. The Nelson Kite Festival's 24th annual event on the weekend was, as always, a spectacular sight to see, and from the crowds that came along is one that Nelsonians are keen to participate in. Although the kites were flying high with our sea breeze, the kite club that organises this and the last 23 events has had some of the wind taken out from under its wings, in part due to a declining membership that has seen the club lose its incorporated society standing and a lack of funding available from Nelson City Council towards this Family Day event. Can these volunteers really be expected to keep putting on such a magnificent display for the people of the city, funded purely from their own pockets and enthusiasm? I spoke with the man behind the event, Ted Howard. Howard, fantastic kite festival here. Amazing looking kites, great day, a lot of people. You must be pretty happy with the turnout.
Yeah, there's usually a year's worth of planning goes into these events, and we invite people in from around the country, and we've got some international guest flyers here, and all we basically have to wait for is for the weather to be good, and we usually choose the 3rd or 4th weekend of January and hope like heck that it is. And today it's a cracker.
It sure is, and the 24th annual event, I mean, you've got to be pretty stoked that you're carrying on for this length of time.
Yep, it's pretty amazing that we've been able to pull it off 24 times. And yesterday I went and gassed up the car, and the young guy at the gas station, when I told him about the 24 years, he said, the Kite Festival's been going longer than I've been alive, because he's 22, and I'm going, adults are around today that are younger than the Kite Festival.
Well, I'd like to be able to say the same thing, but not quite. So it's in the holidays. Is it part of the Nelson City Council summer event festival?
No, it'd be good if it was. We basically got pushed out of when it was Sealaw's summer event, and we've been running it as a kite club ever since. But the kite club has either gone asleep or people have moved on, and we've lost our incorporated society status. So we're basically running on donations. So we really appreciate people who've come today and are giving us donations. And that's great, because we've got, the PA to cover and the signboards and a little bit of petrol money for the kite flyers. But we barely raise enough to keep going.
Oh, that's not good to hear. So you want some more members for the kite club too? All the people that come down today, come back, join the kite club?
Absolutely. It'd be fantastic to get some more people to come and help, and it would be fantastic to get some more help from, say, the council to make this event part again of the summer in Nelson.
Yeah, well, for sure. You can't argue that it's a community event, that's for sure.
Yep. I mean, we just asked for a gold coin donation. We've got areas set up for people to come and fly. Actually, the best place on the field is the northern end of the park next to the railway line, where, of course, they're running a railway station to get on and off the train to go and visit founders. And that is the best place to go fly kites today, is actually on the northern part of the field.
Yeah, and it's a fantastic part of it that you can actually, you can come watch the kites and you can fly your own kites and you can all be part of the exhibition as well.
Absolutely, and when you fly a kite on the northern end, you've got this incredible sky below you filled with these amazing huge kites, and your kite is part of it. It looks fantastic.
Hey, thanks very much for all your efforts, Howard. Last week on Thursday, the new Tasman Police District Commander, Superintendent Karen Malthus, was officially welcomed by local iwi onto Nelson's Whakatū Marae. She is the first woman police officer to hold this top position in the region. We hope to bring you an interview with Superintendent Malthus to find out more about her career in the police force and her climb up the ladder to her new position later this week. It was brought to Mainland's attention last week that a member of the Motueka community was served a trespass notice late December from a post shop and Kiwi Bank in the new Motueka Paper Plus store after she says she sternly told a store attendant that her complaint was not directed at the assistant but to pass on to management, that their service in the new shop was under par after being in queue for over 20 minutes, with lines of people spilling out the door. She had witnessed with the run-up to Christmas people commenting that they were having to leave the store to return to work, unable to complete their business because of the delay. Mainland's Chrissy Small went to meet with the complainant last Friday, but due to concerns of the story reflecting on her workplace, she chose not to speak to camera. So Chrissy went out and asked people on the street of Motueka what their experience of using the new located post shop service was like for them.
It's fine, yes, it's very efficient. There's more counters, I think, more tellers, and that's an improvement.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you Have you been posting over the busy Christmas period, or have you avoided it?
Yes, I've posted. Yes, I had to post some presents. There was a little Christmas queue, when I went into, a week or so before Christmas.
But you found that quite acceptable?
Yes, it was good.
Extremely difficult. I've seen lots of really disgruntled people in queues, including myself, and I think it's a real shame how they have put the Postal Service and Kiwi Bank with retail. I think it needs to be a total separate business where people can see where to go, and they're just dealing with the postal and the banking side of things, because it was just total chaos around the Christmas time.
What is the new shop layout for the service that they're offering?
I think it's hard to find. I mean, sure, on the outside of the building it does say Post Shop Kiwi Bank, but when you go in there it's like, well, really, where is it? You know, it's at the back of Paper Plus, which is really a separate thing, and their shop now, I think, has become really overcrammed and full, where, I just think it needs to be separate businesses, full stop.
Okay. Have you noticed others having difficulty with the service as it is?
I've had 3 friends talk to me at the market saying, I went to post a letter and I needed a little bit of sellotape because the card I bought had fallen apart, but the postal services no longer give sellotape because it was costing them far too much money. And I'm thinking, well, what is a few rolls of tape for people who've got this little bit that needs taping up? And she also said it was just chaos in there, and that she would rather go to Richmond to post her letters, which is pretty crazy when you live in a local area that should just have their own post shop, you know.
Excellent. I find it sometimes it's a bit slow because it's busy, but you've got to queue up like in a supermarket. So
just a really long wait over Christmas time. So just picking up a parcel and took a while to get served. At the time it was a decent sort of amount of time just for one parcel. When the previous store had no issues at all. Probably had multiple of things, Christmas time as well as a new layout. Yeah, definitely. Yep.
Yeah. Now, some people suggest that the everything's pushed down the back of the store, so it makes it a bit harder. Do you think that's one of the reasons?
No, not necessarily. Where you picked up your parcels from the old shop, that was down the back as well. So it's not the location of where it is. That's fine, I think. Yeah.
The people who work behind the counter are pretty good and they do their best. But there seems to be a situation I might describe as being a logistic problem. Twice I haven't been able to get postage stamps, and my post box now, I find that if there's misdelivered or misaddressed mail arriving in it, there's no return slot, and I have gone in, but the queue has been huge. It's this Christmas time queue, of course, and I haven't had the time to wait, so I've just put the letters I'm returning, misdelivered letters, I'm putting them on the table in the little tables in there. That I can't. Sometimes there's few people in the queue, but usually over the Christmas period it's been very, very crowded. I think the people in there are doing their best, but it's not appropriate, and I wonder when they're going to get a return slot for the misdelivered letters for the people from the post boxes, because otherwise on the weekend I'd have to either leave it in my box or whatever. There's no place to put it.
So this box is, you're paying for the use of this box, aren't you?
Yeah, and quite expensively too, I might add. New Zealand Post does very well out of these post boxes. The directors are now giving themselves massive bonuses and things out of my postal money. But the agencies around the country, I don't think they're collecting very much for the service. But there are difficulties in getting it up to running entirely well. But I have to say, I think the staff do their best, They're courteous and they're as efficient as they can be. But when there's bottlenecks, it's very difficult.
It creates a stressful situation for not only the customers but for the staff as well?
I think so, indeed, yes. But it's a management problem, really, and maybe there wasn't sufficient planning that went into. It's had to develop, and I suspect the spaces around the back on the postal side are too few. It's too little.
Mainland has approached Motueka's Paper Plus for comment on the matter, but as yet has not received a response. And a TV show on Motueka, as it was decades ago and as it is now, was the feature of a TV1 program that aired on Saturday. The 30-minute program, called Viren Back, was presented by Sparks Tech Inner Sec advertisement frontman Matt Gibb. The first two-thirds of the program showed archival TV footage in which the late Selwyn Toogood, known well for his It's in the Bag days, interviewed workers and employers around the district in the early 1960s, followed by Matt asking the same questions in the present day in similar locations. While Selwyn Toogood talked with seasonal Kiwi orchard workers and tobacco growers and pickers, Matt interviewed RSA Islander workers and an owner of a still-standing tobacco kiln. The program then visits the Riverside community and talks with some of the older people there now who featured as much younger residents in the 1970s. If you missed this program, it can currently be viewed on TVNZ on demand. Nelson Police are urging people who will be attending the one-day cricket match on Tuesday the 20th in Nelson to plan ahead and make use of public transport venue to avoid traffic congestion and organise a sober driver if necessary. Inspector Tim Crawford said a police operation will involve ensuring public safety travelling to and from Saxton Oval, along with monitoring crowd behaviour at the game. He said the public can expect a high level of police and security presence at the game. There is ample parking at the venue, but with large numbers of vehicles arriving and exiting the venue, people could expect some delays. This event will provide a good opportunity to test systems prior to the Cricket World Cup next month. Police are hoping people will come along and enjoy the cricket, but what they don't want to see is people drinking in car parks, trying to take alcohol into the venue or overindulging once inside. Last week we reported on police zero tolerance and slow driving practices in the region. Chief Inspector Steve Greeley of Nelson Police has also spoken out on the Nelson Police Facebook page last week about the seriousness of people driving badly on the Whangamoas.
G'day everybody, I'm Steve Greeley, Area Commander Nelson Bays. You might be wondering why I'm standing in the middle of the Whangamoas between Nelson and Blenheim. Well, I'll tell you why. Last week, one of my staff also did that, and he was appalled at what he saw. While he was here in the space of just 1 hour, he saw 5 people, 5 vehicles, deliberately crossing the centre line into the path of oncoming traffic. You've got to wonder why someone would do that. Someone would deliberately decide to do that and put other people's lives at risk. By crossing the centre line, you're playing Russian roulette, but not just with your own life, also with the lives of innocent motorists. If you see anybody crossing the centre line, any road across New Zealand, what we really want you to do is to give us a call. You can contact us on *555 and report it. We will certainly follow that up because we're in the business of saving lives. If you can't get the reception, just wait until you're back in reception, but take those details, the number plate, the time and the place, and we'll still follow that up and we'll get back to you how we resolve it. You know, people often ask me, what's the worst thing about being a police officer in New Zealand? And when I think about it, the answer's not too far away. The job of having to go to somebody's house to inform the next of kin that their loved one will not be coming home is horrific. There wouldn't be a police officer in New Zealand that didn't find that a very challenging and daunting task. There are things that we can do to avoid that situation. It's changing our attitudes on our roads. Why do it to your families? They're the ones who are going to have to live with your mistake for the rest of their lives. It's incredibly unfair. You may have heard me before when I've said every person who lives, works or transits through the Nelson Bays area has the right to be safe and to feel safe. Well, that includes our roads as well.
After the break, we'll bring you the latest weather update and some events and happenings coming up from around the region.